I went from this to this. I achieved this in about a year. I'm gonna explain what held me back at the start of my art journey, and I will also explain the techniques and the mindset that helped me improve. And maybe you can point and laugh at my earlier works. They are horrible. When I started to sketch as a complete beginner, I had no idea what I was doing. I had this kind of arrogance that I didn't need to look up any guides or tips or anything. I thought if I just start drawing, things will just start to look good by itself, but that's not how it works. So the result was everything was just completely off, and it didn't matter how often I tried to sketch or how many reps I got in, it still just looked bad. I vaguely knew how a human face looked. I didn't know like how close should the eyes be to the nose, or I didn't know the width of the face. And I mean, the result speaks for themselves here. So eventually I decided that I will actually start to follow guides and look up tips online and listen to other YouTubers. I discovered something called the Loomis method. It really helps you with the proportions of the human face. Like I talked about, how close is the eyes to the nose, how close is the nose to the mouth, how close is the mouth to the bottom of the chin. Thanks to the Loomis method, I could actually get some symmetry in the face. One weakness of the Loomis method is that every face will start to look the same if you follow it too strict. But it's super good for beginners to learn the basic of face symmetry. Another huge revolution for me was the shading of the human face. The higher parts of the human face, like the nose, the chin, the forehead, can be lighter, and gradually the shadows will get darker. So I think this is generally called deep shadows, mid-tones and highlights. And the darkest points of the human face generally is like around the eyes and below the nose and below the lips. There are some dark parts, and gradually it will get lighter when you get higher up, and this will give the face a lot of volume. And if you do this correctly, it can vaguely start to look realistic instead of a bad cartoon. And the third thing that really helped me with my portraits, be extremely focused on the reference that you're using. And you should not try to draw without a reference in the beginning if you want your works to look realistic. Because there is a lot of small nuances in the human face that is super difficult to just guess. Those small changes can make a huge difference. You really have to look closely, like you have to compare the shape of the chin to the shape of the nose and exactly the curve of the forehead, and there is a lot of small details that can make a huge difference. I heard something that you should look 70% on the reference and 30% at what you're drawing. I don't claim to be like a master of sketching now, and I don't claim that my art look is super realistic yet, but compared to where I started, I think I made some improvements, and hopefully I will keep improving. And hey, if you got any tips for me, maybe you could share them with me. I'm very open for every tips I can get. I will continue to share parts of my art journey and the small discoveries I've made. Thank you for watching.